A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. I am Sunampem. This week's top stories. His Majesty the King graces the opening ceremony of the 8th session of the Second Parliament. Financial institutions to accept 500 and 1000 denomination Indian rupee notes till 15th of December. And People's Democratic Party Sirin secures highest votes in the North Thimphu by-election. His Majesty the King graced the opening ceremony of the 8th session of the Second Parliament. His Majesty was received with a traditional Chibdal ceremony at the Gyeolyong Tsokong.
Upon arrival at the courtyard, the National Assembly Speaker, the Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, National Council Chairperson, Cabinet Ministers and the members of the Parliament received His Majesty the King. Their Royal Highnesses Princess Sonam Dichin Wangchuk and Princess Yuphelma Choden Wangchuk also attended the opening. On behalf of the parliamentarians, the National Assembly Speaker Jimmy Zangpo thanked His Majesty for gracing the ceremony and for His Majesty's unwavering and continuous support.
Dare dugi chitsunibi sokten gyabadi ngachere du gyakabi chitsugi ninda kidugi tong chamse chingi dani miwangada rimboche pe jimege se namge wanchu cho pelden dupe kesi tigulu jende milo chutam kowe kedu pakpe loda tinte kosu tende nami.
The Speaker also expressed gratitude to His Holiness the Jkempo for performing numerous spiritual activities for the benefit of the country and its people. During the month-long session, the National Assembly will deliberate on 5 bills, 2 international conventions and reports by some of the committees of the House. Passa, BBS News.
His Majesty the King granted that to appoint Bhutan's ambassador to Kuwait and appointed Tu Zimpeum to the office of the Gepe Zimpe.
Tringaltsen Penjur is the new Bhutanese ambassador to Kuwait. He was working as the deputy permanent representative at the Permanent Mission of Bhutan to the United Nations in New York. The 2 new Zimpeum are Karma Tenzin and Yuntun Phunso. Karma Tenzin worked with the Ministry of Agriculture and Forest. Yuntun Phunso was heading the Kidu support service of the office of the Gepe Zimpe. Zimpeum supports the Gepe Zimpe in delivering His Majesty's various Kidu to the people. The Zimpeum, on deputation from different agencies, comes from a variety of backgrounds. According to the Constitution, His Majesty the King appoints ambassadors on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, who obtains nominations from the Royal Civil Service Commission. Pupgame for BBS News.
For the first time in the history of Bhutan, Tashikha or auspicious multiple door is on public display. An exhibition, Tashikha, a national treasure of Bhutan, opened at the Royal Textile Academy in Thimphu recently.
Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother Ashikezang Choden Wangchuk, accompanied by their Majesties the Queen Mothers and members of the royal family, attended the opening ceremony. As of now, 16 Tashikha are on public display while 13 others are under restoration. Most of the Tashikha dates back to the Shabdung's time and are collected from various temples across the country. Restoration works for the conservation of Tashikha have been going on for more than 2 months now. Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother is the patron of the project.
Over the past 2 decades, it has been observed that the culture and tradition of taking Tashikha monks around villages and reciting the manis by the lam manis have been almost vanishing. and it was the vision, enlightened vision of Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother Ajikesang Chudun Wangchuk, who envisioned to revive this art of Tashigomans. And as a result, the Tashigomang project was conceptualized. And when when research was going on for this Tashigomang project, it was found important to exhibit, to give opportunity for the Bhutanese people to witness an exhibition, to showcase these artifacts to our to the Bhutanese population.
The exhibition is to commemorate 400 years of the legacy of Shabdrung Ngawang Namgyal. As a part of the restoration project, 6 Gomchens or lay monks will also be trained for 2 weeks on recitation of Tashigoma prayers. Tashigoma, literally meaning auspicious multiple doors, was introduced in Bhutan around 1637. The Royal Textile Academy, in collaboration with the Tashigoma Project, Central Monastic Body, Department of Culture and the Thangka Restoration and Conservation Center, is organizing the exhibition, which will last for the next 3 months. This is Sonam Chodin for BBS News.
Financial institutions will accept deposit or exchange of 500 and 1000 denomination Indian rupee notes from customers till 15th of next month. The notification comes after the Reserve Bank of India withdrew the 500 and 1000 denomination Indian bank notes to curb black money.
People have been visiting financial institutions since morning to deposit and exchange their 500 and 1000 denomination Indian rupee notes after hearing the news of withdrawal.
Right now that the Indian government say that the notes of 500 and 1000 are not valid anymore. The problem for a tourist is that I have money to spend here in the next 3 or 4 days. If I don't exchange it, I have to take it back to India and I cannot spend money in Bhutan. And that would be not nice.
I faced lots of problems today. When I came here in the morning, my boss asked me not to accept Indian currency notes of 500 and 1000 denominations. At 9 a.m., when I went back to deposit some amount, they did not accept it.
However, the Royal Monetary Authority said it is just a temporary inconvenience and that it will be solved very soon. Meanwhile, the central bank has come up with an interim measure.
Even if you have holding Indian rupees 500 and 1000, you have to go immediately deposit those Indian rupees into your single-term bank account in any banks in Bhutan where your accounts are. If you need Indian rupees for travel to India or for some purchase from the border towns, then RMA is accommodating to give up to 10,000 Indian rupees per month. This is it is reduced from 50,000 to 10,000 because the new stocks we have are not now in circulation. New and fresh notes from India are not available, not arrived in Bhutan, so we need to accommodate this kind of inconvenience.
For those who have bank accounts, there will be no limit on the amount of 500 and 1000 denomination Indian rupee notes to be credited to the near-term account. But for the non-account holders, only a maximum of 50,000 rupees can be deposited or exchanged. The governor also cautions people to refrain from travelling to India unless it's an emergency.
If the travel is inevitable, if somebody is due to sickness and illness or sickness or some emergency, then RMA will try to accommodate to provide Indian rupees to the extent possible. But our advice to the public is that a lot of inconvenience is already in India. So even if you go with the car to India, so your withdrawal is limited to 2,000 rupees a day. So that will create a lot of inconvenience. So people should be mindful about their planning their travel to India and use of Indian rupees to make purchases from India.
RMA also assures that this will not hamper the country's economy. As of today, there are 300 million 500 denomination rupee notes and 227 million 1000 denomination rupee notes with the central bank and the financial institutions in the country. Sundama Gelsin, BBS News.
Following the withdrawal of the 500 and 1000 rupee notes by India, people trying to engage in deposit or exchange of these notes on behalf of others will be considered an offence. Royal Monetary Authority cautions the people that every detail of the person depositing or exchanging rupee will be recorded. For this, the central bank has also deployed its officers in the banks.
If it's not your money, Don't attempt to take somebody's money, especially at the border town across the border. Somebody may be soliciting you to take the money and deposit on somebody's behalf in account. Please do not do that. This is totally offense against the law and you'll be subject to severe penalties. And people should be aware that by the fact that the banks are taking the details of the person who's depositing, banks will submit those details to us, and every day we'll be checking the suspected transactions. And if an individual has deposited beyond his source of income, then that person will be subject to inquiry and investigation.
Lack of motivation among the learners is one of the reasons for the dropout in non-formal education in the country. To address this gap, a conference on capacity building for NFE instructors was organized in the capital. The conference was to equip the instructors and community learning center managers with knowledge and skills to enhance teaching and learning.
Many people have benefited as a result of NFE program in the country, but challenges such as teachers' low capability, inadequate advocacy programs, and lack of regular and consistent monitoring contributed to the drop in the number of learners and instructors. The other factor is absence of support and evaluation mechanism, which increased the dropout rate.
We have to motivate the people. This is a main factor that has been very difficult for us. If we're able to give them adequate skills, if we're able to equip them with the knowledges and techniques, I think it would make a difference in the adult literacy program.
The instructors will be trained for handling and managing NFE centers. Given the increasing demand from learners for diversity in the program offered, the conference will address program diversity and enhance literacy to 70%.
We want to look at basically the good practices that happens in other countries like India, like Bangladesh, Korea, and Thailand. So we have speakers, around 11 speakers from those 4 countries who would be sharing with us about the good practices of managing the community learning center, basically to enhance the literacy program in their country.
There are over 7,000 learners and some 700 instructors as of 2015. 2 years ago, there were over 9,000 learners. Sunampem for BBS News.
First, it was the construction of hydropower projects, and now it's the ongoing east-west highway widening works that is making the dust pollution in Wangdifodra worse, as our correspondent there reports.
Residents living along the highway claim the ongoing highway widening works have aggravated the existing problem of dust pollution in the area. And they fear the problem will only grow with the onset of dry season.
This place is dusty most times. It got worse after the cutting works started. Children, especially infants, suffer from cough and cold. Even adults are facing a difficult time. Just a while ago, some children were taken to hospital. It is inconvenient for the school-going children. When they return, their uniforms are all dusty and have to wash every day. Many even fall sick. It's dusty everywhere.
Wandi Primary School, located next to Wandi Tronsa Highway, is the worst hit by the dust pollution.
Exams are nearing and we are concerned students might fall sick during that time. We have asked our students to use face masks regularly.
Officials from the Department of Roads and Lobbies said to control the dust, they sprinkle water twice a day. They have also asked other contractors involved in the widening works to do the same. They added, considering the health concerns of the residents, they will speed up the blacktopping works. For Komal Khaka in Wandi, this is Pasa, BBS News.
People's Democratic Party's Tsiring won the North Thimphu by-election by nearly 1,400 votes. He secured 75% of the total votes cast.
Tsering secured 2,032 votes, while Drukphantsom Sokpa's candidate Kizang Wangmo got only 660 votes. Tsering will now fill the vacant post in the National Assembly after former Deputy MP Kinga Tsering resigned in August this year for further studies. 33-year-old Tsering has a degree in visual communication from Chennai University. He worked with the Bhutan Broadcasting Service for 3 years, and he also contested for a seat in the National Council in 2013. Earlier, Tsering promised to restart the renovation works of Lingjizong and to improve mule track in the highland areas. And he also pledged to institute one-stop information center and work towards upgradation of the community in Kawanggyo. He said he'll also focus on water, drainage and road problems. From a total of 6,300 registered voters in North Thimphu constituency, about 2,700 cast their votes. Sringda Magalson, BBS News.
For the first time, khaki silverline, a rare species of butterfly, was spotted in Bhutan. With this, the country now has 728 recorded species of butterfly.
In grey and black color patterns, the butterfly was first spotted in Langthel Park Range last month. A forester came across this species while surveying and exploring the butterfly diversity in the Jigme Singye Wancho National Park. The Ugyen Wancho Institute for Conservation and Environment in Bomthang confirmed and added it to the list of butterfly species in the country.
Same species same family
As there are similar butterflies from the same family, I had to compare and review the newly spotted one. We even got in touch with some of the foreign experts and they confirmed it as an additional butterfly species for Bhutan.
New additional to Bhutan
He added, going by their studies, the number of butterfly species in the country is increasing and there could be over 800 different butterflies in Bhutan.
Earlier, mostly foreigners had carried out baseline studies and they said our region is rich in biodiversity, especially butterfly. In other countries, butterflies have become rare due to increase in human population and environmental destruction. But in Bhutan, that's not the case.
Experts say existence of butterflies is an indication of a healthy environment and ecosystems. In Bhutan, most of them are found in the southern region. Tringzam, BBS News.
To cash in on their community forest, people of Bangso Chiwok in Samrup Jongkhar developed the area into a recreational park. But much to their dismay, the park is yet to attract visitors.
More than 600 tourists visited Samrup Jongkhar this season, but none stopped over to explore the recreational park in Dewathang Gewog.
We developed our community forest into a park to attract tourists. As of now, we didn't receive any, but we hope this will change with time and we will be able to earn from the park.
Officials from the Divisional Forest Office in Samrup Jongkhar say, since the park is new, not many people are aware of it. They are, however, looking at ways to promote it. Works to develop the park began in 2014 and was completed some 4 months ago. About 8 kilometers of footpath has been cleared as a trekking route within the park. For its panoramic view, there is a watchtower as well. Apart from these, the park also provides an opportunity to explore diverse flora and fauna in the area. The recreational park, worth 3 million nutrum, was developed with assistance from the Agriculture and Forest Ministry. For Kiliwanchu in Samrup Jongkhar, this is Kiliangdan for BBS News.
Bhutan imports more than half of its total rice requirement from India. But this deficiency, agriculture officials say, can be minimized if people go for maize as an alternate diet.
Today, most people associate maize as a poor man's crop. Likewise,
Agriculture officials say people also lack knowledge on the nutritional value of maize. Compared to rice, maize is not only more nutritious but has less sugar content as well. Moreover, they said maize can be grown in all 20 dzongkhaks of the country.
To change the social food habits is not so easy. So it would take, it could be a long-term goal. Nonetheless, if we can improve the quality of the karang and also diversify products through making various products out of maize and maize-based products, I think we can achieve a substantial we can make substantial progress in putting the maize into food habits.
To promote maize as an alternate diet, the Agriculture and Forest Ministry helps farmers by facilitating its marketing. The ministry is also putting efforts in increasing the nutritional value of the crop through various methods before its processing. Records with the Agriculture and Forest Ministry show the country cultivates more maize than rice. Last year, Bhutan produced 90,000 metric tons of maize against 83,000 metric tons of rice. Meanwhile, with changing diet patterns, there are some in urban areas of the country who have already started integrating maize into their daily menu. This is Kipchu for BVS News.
People of Sethang in Tashikha have been battling with multiple crop failure for about 4 years now. The crop failure, including the main cash crop potato, has badly affected over 6 households in the village.
People in Sethang under Lumagyo cultivated acres of potatoes, chilies, beans and maize to make a reasonable income until they were struck by mysterious crop failure. This season, as well as the past few, has not been particularly busy for the villager in terms of marketing the produce. The pale-looking and rotten crops in the fields reveal the loss incurred by the farmers.
The potato plant wilts and dies as if a hot water has been poured onto it. It is the same case for chilies, as it dies when the plant begins to bloom. We are facing difficulties because of that.
We are sad as potatoes do not grow despite working hard. We no longer have interest to work.
Some villagers have resorted to raising more livestock as an alternative and selling more vegetables such as radish and spinach, which grow better in the village. People had earlier reported the problem to their Gewok agriculture official, who now has been transferred. People were asked to use a pesticide, but they did not do so, fearing health implications. The current agriculture official is expected to inspect the problem in the village next week. For Chetan Dupchu in Tashikha, Sringzam, BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.